up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today is exciting because today we're going to be testing out an extension line from the Makeup Revolution line, and that is called Revolution Pro. If you guys haven't seen this line, like, it's literally right down the road from Makeup Revolution. Like, they have their own display, even on ULTA, like on the ULTA page, like you have to actually type in Revolution Pro. It's not under Makeup Revolution's heading, it's under its own heading now. But yeah, packaging is so beautiful and everything. It looks so high-end and so bougie. Like, you're on the drugstore side, but it looks like you're on the high-end side. So I don't have a full face of stuff, but I do have a lot of things. So I'm gonna try to make this as Makeup Revolution-y as possible. So if you like videos like this where I talk about multiple products from one brand, then make sure you give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to my channel and join my family. I would love to have you stick around. And if you don't already, then make sure you turn that notification bell on so that you never miss an upload from me. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive on in. The first thing I have is a new eye primer from them, and they have 3 different shades of these. These are called the Eye Elements Eye Primer. They're $8, and they're trying to be like the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. Like, that's pretty obvious. So I got the shade Core, which looks like a dupe for Soft Ochre. So yeah, it's just a yellow ivory kind of shade. It is matte. They have one that's shimmery, and then they have one that's more of like a pinkish tone, I believe. And this does conceal, like, it does have concealing properties, which I refuse to use translucent primers anymore. To me, they're useless. Whenever I use those, I find that I have to use so much more product and I have to build up the product a lot more. And it is a tad bit drying. I do find that the paint pots can be a little bit drying. I actually tried Painterly a long time ago. But if you have super dry eyelids, you may want to spray like a hydrating spray toner or spray mist over your face first, just to kind of hydrate your eyelids. Or you may be okay. Like, it's not super drying. So yeah, liking that so far. But moving on to eyeshadow palettes. So I have 2. These are $20. These are called the Color Focus palettes. So they have, I think they have like 5 or 6 different tones and whatnot. They're very pretty. My problem with them though is that everyone has like 1 or 2 shades that I really like and I'm really drawn to, but to pay $20 for only 1 or 2 shades, I just can't rationalize it. But I kind of did with these 2 palettes. Like, these were the 2 that I was most attracted to. So of the 2, there is one that I'm more drawn to than the other, and that one's Earth and Stone. So it's the black palette. But yeah, this one's more neutral. You do get a pop of green in there, but there's not really a whole lot of mattes in here. Like, these 3, they're kind of satiny mattes. Like, this one's more of a satin finish. These 2, this black and brown, they're more of a matte. But I'm gonna be honest, I was drawn to this shade right here. This is basically a powdered version of Stila's Magnificent Metal Glitter and Glow in the shade Wanderlust. It's just like a yellowish gold with a pink reflex. It is so beautiful. And then I have Truth or Dare. So this one's more neutral, and you get a pop of blue, so that they all kind of have like a pop of something. You get these 2 matte brown shades right here, and then this plum down here is kind of like a satiny matte. Okay, so I take it back. I said earlier that I was more into Earth and Stone, the black palette, but looking at the shades, I'm actually more drawn to the Truth or Dare palette. I'm definitely going to need a transition shade because there's not a big selection of those in either palette. So I'm going to go into Tati Beauty's Texture Neutral palette. I'm going to take Matte Soothe and use that in my crease. And I will say, usually by this point, my eye primer's already started creasing. This hadn't started creasing yet, so pretty impressive. So I think I'm going to focus more on the Truth or Dare palette, just because I feel like this is going to be the one that people will be more drawn to because of the neutrals. So I'm going to go into this like warm matte-ish brown shade. I'm going to put that in my outer V and use that to deepen everything up a little bit. That blended out and diffused really well. Like, I'm pretty shocked by that. So now I'm going to go into this matte plum because I haven't used that one yet. You definitely do get more pigmentation laid down, and it's more full coverage whenever you just tap it on. I mean, obviously. So on this side, I'm going to focus more on just like tapping it in, and then in the crease, I'm going to go in and just do the windshield wiper motions. The more you blend them, they soften out so easily that it kind of fluffs away the pigment that's laid down. So like, I went in with this bigger brush to blend out the edges instead of taking this one that I tapped on that purple with. It did make it kind of patchy right through here where I'd initially tapped it in for more pigmentation. So yeah, it kind of seems like it's one of those formulas that it just, like, you can't blend too much, which is weird. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into this cranberry shade, which is so beautiful. And first I'm gonna pick it up with my phalange. We may use a wet brush or something on the other side. Got a beautiful sheen to it. It is so metallic. Like, this is what a metallic shade should look like. Take note, Tati. I'm just gonna kind of fuse whatever's left over on my finger. Like, once I've got it all laid down in the center, I'm just gonna kind of like flick my finger outward just so it kind of blends into that purple a little bit. I probably should have gone with just like the brown to pair with this cranberry, but we live and we learn. So I'm gonna go in with a brush on the other side and wet it. So there's what it looks like wet versus finger. So yeah, like compared to the finger side, like this looks pretty ratchet. Okay, so I'm really not liking that purple. It just looks too much like a black, and I hate putting black in my outer V. It's so gross on me. So now I'm gonna go into this metallic rose gold. I haven't used this one as much. We're just gonna jump right past the finger and go into wetting the brush because I know I like it better. I'm gonna put this in the inner corner and meet that up with the cranberries. Ooh, we got a lot on the brush. This one's a little more chunky, but the reflex to it is so pretty. Let me swatch it. Oh, the pigmentation of it all. Like, it's just so buttery. But yeah, this one definitely is more chunky of a glitter. So, for my inner corner, I think I'm going to take... I could either take this metallic white gold or this, like... Not this one. This satiny, shimmery, more toned down white gold. Let's see. Here's what the more toned down one looks like. So, it's still very pretty. It's more like a duochrome kind of shade. And then the metallic one, a little chunky. It's not as smooth as that cranberry. It's kind of more like the rose gold that we used. But yeah, let's do the more toned down one so that we're not a complete glitter whore. I'll pop that right there and then fuse it up. Actually, I don't know if it's going to fuse well into that glitter. So let's do the metallic white gold. Okay, yeah, we're going to fuse that into that rose gold. I think that would unify a little bit better. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish up my eyeliner and mascara and probably like a brow bone highlight. I'll probably have to pull into another palette for that because there isn't like a matte brow bone highlight in either of these palettes. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so moving on to the face. So I do have a new primer. This is the Revolution Pro Hydra Matte Primer. So I really like anything that claims to be hydrating but also mattifying at the same time. So this is $15, but it does have collagen and antioxidants in it. So it's got some skincare benefits in it. So it does come with this really nice pump, but I wish you could feel this in person. Like, it's so softening and smoothing. Like, it's really weird because on one hand it feels hydrating, like it's not super drying or anything, but on the other hand it feels like your typical smoothing, blurring, silicone-based primer. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't blur or like fill in your pores or anything. Like it does blur over them a little bit. Like it gives a nice like soft, smooth canvas for makeup, but it's not as much as like the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer or like the Tarte Smoothing Primer, whatever that's called. Moving on to foundation. So again, I'm using this Fast Base Stick Foundation, which I've loved for so long. And I never talk about it. Like I never really use it. I think it's because it's one of those foundations that doesn't work for me all the time. And it's one of those that whenever I have worn it, it does break down in my T-zone. Like this is really, really good, especially if you have dry skin or like combination skin. But if you're super oily, I would say stay away from this just because it does make me really greasy and oily in my T-zone. I haven't used it in a while by itself to see how it holds up in my T-zone now, because right now I'm pretty normal. Like I'm pretty balanced. I'm not really a super oily skin type anymore. It is actually like butter. It is so smooth and just, let me put it on my hand. This is F6 by the way for my shade. It is so smooth and it just glides on literally like silk. It is absolutely amazing. Most stick foundations I feel like are matte and they dry down really fast. This one doesn't do that because it is more creamy and it definitely does give you a more satin slash somewhat dewy finish. But as you can see, vanished. Let's go over here and do the same thing because that was fun to watch. Look at all of it. All the redness, all the bumps. Disappeared. Moving on to concealer. So now we have the Revolution Pro Ultimate Coverage Crease Proof Concealer out of the shade C1. So they actually only have 16 shades, but it's a pretty wide spectrum. Like the shades I was looking at, like the lighter range, they go really, really light. Like there was one that almost looked like a white on me. So I feel like it's actually a pretty good spectrum, and the dark shades look pretty dark, but I will say this is meant to be more of an under eye concealer. So most of us like a little bit lighter of a concealer under the eyes. So I feel like this is pretty inclusive. So it says it's highly pigmented, it offers full coverage, it's infused with hyaluronic acid, collagen, antioxidants, and peptides, crease proof, waterproof, and stretchable. It moves with your face for the ultimate coverage while still looking natural. So it's pretty obvious that this is trying to dupe the Bye Bye Under Eye from IT Cosmetics. Like I'm kind of scared of it because the Bye Bye Under Eye didn't really work for me. It was just way too thick and it creased and it was super dewy and I just didn't like that kind of consistency. But it is super thick, like super thick. But you can tell it's definitely going to be full coverage. Like it's very, very pigmented. It seems like a little bit does go a really long way. Like this seems like something that's going to be hard to blend out, and it may be better with the warmth of your finger. So I'm just going to lay down a little bit. So that blended out really well actually. I did blend out the majority of it with my finger, but I mean, not too bad. So I'm going to go in and add a little bit more. It's very sticky. Okay, so that blended out really well. So I'm bringing it down just a little bit further just to I don't know, give me more of that triangle shape. Looks really good. There definitely is a hydration factor to it. Like it definitely is a dewy finish, which typically equates to disaster. So I'm just gonna let that sit there for a little bit. I'm not gonna go in and powder yet. I just wanna see what kind of finish it has when it sets, like if it holds up this dewiness, and also if it starts creasing and whatnot. Because usually by this point with concealers like this kind of texture, like where it's really thick, usually they would start creasing, you know, after a few minutes. So I'm gonna go into my contour slash bronzer now. So I'm actually gonna use the Fast Space Stick Foundation and some darker shades to do that. So I have F10 and F12. So here is F10, so this is more of like a cool tone shade. And what's really nice about this line, like the Fast Space Stick Foundation line, there's F12. It's very inclusive. Like they go very, very dark. They're honestly, Makeup Revolution is one of the best drugstore brands for inclusivity. So let's go into F10 at first just to see how it works. So I actually am gonna go in with F12 and just push it back here towards my hairline. Full coverage city. So as far as the concealer goes, I mean, hasn't really started creasing a whole lot yet. I mean, I see my fine lines, but those are they're just there. But I think this might be pretty good. So I have two different powders. This is from the actual Makeup Revolution line, not the Revolution Pro. These are the Bacon Blots, and I have Translucent and Banana Light. They have a really good shade selection in these powders as well. Like they have translucent, but they also have different shades of banana for different skin tones. They have deeper skin tone shades. Like it's beautiful. So these are about $7. I think they're $7 at Ulta. So I'm gonna go with Banana Light for under my eyes. So yeah, there's what Banana Light looks like, and here's what the swatch looks like. And these are so smooth. A lot of banana shades I can't use. Like if you're a lighter skin tone, banana shades typically aren't for you. But I like that they have different shades. Like this is a pretty light banana shade. Like it is yellow, but it's not too yellow. So yeah, there's Banana Light. And I feel like if you're more of a medium skin tone and up, like if you're medium to tan, this would be a really nice brightening shade. But it did darken my under eye a little bit. Like there's still brightness there, but it definitely did tone it down a notch. Like I would say it probably brought it up like a shade level. So I guess I will go ahead and go in with the translucent shade because I know the areas that aren't gonna get touched with cheek products. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's so smooth. Like these feel like butter. But I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna set down here, and then in my T-zone on my nose. I'm really just gonna avoid my cheek area and then this perimeter right up there. I don't know why it's called bake. I mean, can you really bake with this? Like whenever I go in, let's get a lot on my brush and see if I can actually bake. No, it's just a pressed powder. I don't know why it's called baking, but yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of on the fence about it. It's not wonderful. Like it doesn't beat out my Avon translucent loose powder. So for lips, I have the new Revolution Pro New Neutral Satin Matte Lipstick. This is $9. They have 6 shades, and I got the shade Cashmere. So they had 2 really pretty nude shades. The other one was called Stripped, I think. And this formula is so nice. It is so smooth. So I didn't get a lip liner from them, so I'm just gonna use what I already have. And I just realized I didn't put on highlighter, so I'll do that too. So yeah, there's that shade. It is so pretty, and again, it would match, oh my God. It would match so much. If you ever wonder why there's always lipstick on my teeth in my videos, it's because my chomper's get in the way every time. So I do want to do a little roundup and just kind of go over what my thoughts are at this point. As far as the eyeshadow palettes, I'm really torn on this because they are $20. Like that's pretty expensive for a drugstore eyeshadow palette. I just don't feel like I can create like complete looks with either of these palettes. Whenever I sit down, I pull out one palette. Like I want one palette that has everything that I don't need to like pull out anything else for. I don't know if they're worth $20 for the small amount that I like about them. The eye primer, I really do like at this point. I really like how much it conceals, and I love the shade of it. Like I've been trying to find a shade that's similar to Soft Ochre. The concealer, I'm gonna pay very close attention to this concealer. This is actually the first day that I've applied it, so I'll keep wearing it, and you guys will probably see it in a future update video, or if I decide not to put it into an update video, like I'll come back and I'll update the description box. The lipstick, I'm really digging. Like I love this shade. It is so pretty. It's very universal, but it definitely is a satin matte finish, leaning more to be a matte finish. So I would personally prefer a lip gloss on top. It doesn't enhance lines or dryness. My lips are pretty dry and dehydrated, so it's not doing any of that. It's not doing the cat butthole thing in my inner rim of my lip, and it's just very smoothing and comfortable. The powders, I just don't know about. Like usually at this point, I've kind of figured out what I think about powders, and I've used these every time that I put makeup on, so I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like they're wowing me, so I feel like that makes me lean more towards not liking them. Like, I can already see shine happening in my T-zone, so it's not that mattifying. The Hydro Matte Primer, I think I'm gonna like this. Like, I feel like the texture and consistency is different than the other primers that I have, and the feel is different. Like, I don't really have anything that feels like this. I mean, we'll definitely be putting it to the test today with this dewy foundation because, you know, it's probably gonna start going downhill pretty soon. Like, I can already kind of see it, but I mean, I think that I will like this. I really like the way it feels. So again, check down there. There may be an update, there may not. But that is it for this full face or half face, one brand review, whatever I decide to call it, with Revolution Pro / Makeup Revolution. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel and turn your bell on, and I will see you guys in my next one.